Hey guys, it's Reticent XO. I'm gonna continue on with the story that I first talked about on the last video. But this one has to do with Steam, and there's a lot of accounts that we talked about before: Russia, Belarus, Armenia. The players' access to Destiny 2 has been shut down, or they've been locked out. And as far as I know, at this point, Bungie has not given a clear explanation of what's going on. They're just saying that the game all of a sudden is restricted by law. So I'm thinking at the beginning of September, everything was fine. But then on September 15th, something happened to where suddenly players in certain countries, like I said, Russia, Belarus, Armenia, etc., they stopped having access to the game. Some players have found workarounds, but yeah, it's a bad situation. And so where I left off was, if these players no longer have access to the game that they paid for, then Bungie needs to issue refunds, because that just makes no sense of having a game that you paid for and you don't have access to it. Once that access is cut off, and it seems like this is going to be permanent, then those players who no longer have access to the game, they're definitely going to need a refund. So with that thought in mind, let me move my camera down a little bit. We have Steam issuing full refunds for Destiny 2, Edge of Fate, and Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition after Bungie blocked access in multiple countries. Like, these are entire countries being blacked out. And as of yesterday, when this article was written, September 25th, 2025, I haven't heard or read a response from Bungie outside of the game in those countries are now restricted by law. But in terms of the refund that I was talking about, Steam has started issuing full refunds. So yeah, they, after Bungie blocked access in multiple countries with no prior warning. Over the past week, Destiny 2 players in several countries have been locked out of the game entirely, with taper error codes preventing them from logging in. This started quietly with complaints from players in Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, and other regions, but it quickly grew into a bigger issue as more and more people realized they couldn't access content they had already paid for. Bungie's only official response so far has been a one-line sentence shared in response to forum threads. It wasn't even on their X page or their X account. Destiny services are not available where access is restricted by law. No actual countries were named, and no details were provided about what law this is referring to. I have no idea. Like, the law on September 1st was fine, and all of a sudden the law on September 15th was not fine. And all of a sudden it was restricted. So within that 2-week span alone, like, what happened? At the time of writing, the block is still active. Some players have tried using workarounds like VPNs and DNS changes, but for many, the game remains unplayable. Now it looks like Steam has stepped in, at least temporarily. Players who found themselves locked out of Destiny 2 have started requesting refunds, and many of those requests have been approved. So Steam is refunding Destiny 2 The Edge of Fate. Over the past 24 hours, reports started showing up across Reddit and the official Bungie forums claiming that Steam is approving refund requests for Destiny 2 Edge of Fate in the Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition, which I bought, a couple weeks ago, the Ultimate Edition part of it. What makes this especially surprising is that these approvals came despite the standard Steam policy that limits refunds to users with under 2 hours of playtime. So if you played the game less than 2 hours, if I understand this correctly, then you get approved for a refund. The game post has now verified multiple cases of full refunds being issued. In the screenshots we reviewed, players affected by the taper error were granted refunds to their Steam wallets, even after logging dozens of hours into the game since the expansion launched. One user shared confirmation that the refund was processed within an hour of submitting a ticket. Here's what one player told Steam support when requesting a refund. Since the 17th of September, logging into the game is impossible due to taper error. This appears to be a shadow ban of all CIS base accounts without any notice, explanation, or anything. None of the content I purchased is accessible, and I can't do anything about it except to request a refund, which is really bad. It's worth noting, however, that the situation may already be shifting. Several players are now reporting that Steam has stopped granting refunds as of a few hours ago, though many others successfully had their requests approved as recently as yesterday. Right now, it's unclear whether Steam has pulled back on this or if refunds are still available, depending on the case. For those wondering, here's everything included in the Destiny 2 Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition, which if you pre-ordered it, just say it's $100. It's $99.99. Just say $100. But you do get the 2 expansions, Edge of Fate and Renegades, both campaigns, New Raid and Dungeon, the rewards, passes, the Dark Side Legends bundle, and there's other stuff included in the package. Bungie, on the other hand, is not provided any update beyond its single sentence statement about restricted by law access. There is no word yet on whether players will receive official refunds through other platform holders like PlayStation and Xbox. And I'll just say that, yes, that would be the right thing to do. Is that something that Bungie's willing to do? I don't think so, but I'm thinking they're going to be pushed in. They're pushed into a corner at this point. We'll keep this story updated if Bungie or Steam makes an official statement. What do you think of the situation? Should players be refunded when they can no longer access content they bought? Let us know in the comments. So yeah, I have the same final thought on this, is that the players should be refunded. And I'm glad that Steam did start refunding players, even if they did play more than 2 hours of the game, of Edge of Fate. But I'm wondering at this point, since it seems like they've slowed down from giving out refunds, did Bungie kind of tag them and say, hey, we're losing too much money, right? But it's not right for players to have paid what we paid for the game and not have access to it at all. And I don't know if the VPN and the DNS workarounds are still effective, but I think that's only been for like PC players. But I think if you're on PS5, PS4, I don't think even changing the DNS server route is going to help. So for example, if you're using a server in Russia, like, there is no workaround for that. And like I said before, I think this entire thing is political. I think I'm going to scroll through the news a little bit and see what's going on with Russia, because I know their military has been making some somewhat aggressive moves against other countries in the area. I even heard of Russian jet fighters coming into Alaska airspace and encountering the U.S. military. So this is bigger than video games. But for Destiny 2 specifically, their money is gonna have to be refunded. The players who have lost access, they're gonna need refunds. There's just no way around that. And if Bungie wants to drag it out, I mean, this is like a no-brainer in a court case. People, like everyone in those countries, their money is gonna have to be refunded. And on the last video, we looked at the list of countries under CIS. These are not small countries. This is not a small audience. Russia alone is not a small audience. So you have all these countries here. So it's man, this is not good. But yeah, I don't think that there's a way for Bungie to work around this. They're just gonna have to issue people refunds, but I'm gonna have a look around and see if that's actually happening, or if they have said anything on their X accounts, on any of them, about what's going on overseas. Because I'm here in the States, in the U.S., so I haven't been affected by it, but it's really bad as so many other people are caught like in the middle of whatever's going on, with Russia and what's going on overseas. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.